suppressing the people while this transformation to world government is complete.
Yes, and so a generation will grow up through these tough times, and it'll be quite natural to hear on the news that the Rapid Deployment Forces are down in California this week, quelling a riot by malcontents who will not go, who are anti-social, who won't blend into the new social structure. And this is how they plan it. It's really working on the minds of those growing up. Already we have people growing up who've never known freedom. They think that police in the streets and tanks going around and guys in black uniforms in subways with machine guns is quite natural, that we're under a constant state of terror. That's the only world they've known. The one that will grow up through all the rioting will take that as standard. They will think that those who riot are antisocial because they want more than their fair share that the UN is dishing out to them. And at the end of all of this, there'll be no memory or history of the world that was before.
And that's what George Orwell talks about, who was a BBC propagandist and openly admitted before he died of tuberculosis, and a lot of evidence showed was killed, that this is the plan he was let in on as a member of British intelligence.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And showing that the British masterminds, not the British people, but the British masterminds are running this. Everything the British government puts out as policy is then mimicked and parroted as official policy in the United States, Europe, Japan, and worldwide. Alan Watt is our guest. We'll talk about the public. Even though world government's being admitted, some of the public still in denial, saying the articles we're showing are fake.
A day unlike any other in the long course of American history, a terrorist act of war against this country.
The enemy struck America on September 11th. But who is the enemy?
Bin Laden. This is his MO.
We have to look to the Middle East. We have to look to Osama bin Laden.
Fabled Enemies is the first 9/11 film to take a close look at the terrorist ties to intelligence networks inside the United States.
Some U.S. investigators believe that there are Israelis again very much engaged in spying in and on the U.S.
I'm aware that some Israeli citizens have been detained.
Bin Laden's connections to the CIA, the hijackers' ties to the FBI, the Saudi Arabian connection, the Israeli intelligence network, warnings and war games, the shadow government, and much, much more. Fabled Enemies. Get the DVD at Infowars.com or see it in super high quality, along with hundreds of other titles at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
Hi, John Hubner from Midas Resources. Are you tired of watching your hard-earned assets dwindle away? As government spending is out of hand and the Federal Reserve is creating in excess of $20 billion a week, are you tired of stockbrokers gambling away your hard-earned money? Is this market a setup for a crash greater than 1987? Too many of today's policies resemble those that led to the collapse of 1929. How much are you willing to lose? Take action now. Call me at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129. I believe that we are facing a financial catastrophe of biblical proportion. Over recent decades, numerous economic systems have failed. Current Federal Reserve policy and uncontrolled government spending have set the stage for the United States to be the next target. Secure your assets today by calling 1-800-686-2237, extension 129. Do this while paper can still buy gold. Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129.
More than 700 chemicals have been found in our drinking water. And did you know that you have greater exposure to these chemicals while taking hot showers than when drinking the water? That's because many chemicals are inhaled when they evaporate, and others are absorbed into the skin. The KDF Dual Media Shower Filter works with both hot and cold water, and it's designed to reduce chlorine, lead, mercury, and iron, and it inhibits the growth of bacteria, mold, algae, and fungus. The KDF Dual Media Shower Filter typically lasts 10,000 gallons, or 1 year, whichever comes first. Hospitals, restaurants, and water treatment facilities use this media to reduce chlorine, iron, heavy metals, and bacteria. What about you? Order your KDF shower filter normally $49 for our special price of only $39.99 with free shipping. Call the Berkey Guy and order now by calling 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or simply click on the banner at gcnlive.com to order online now.
Toxic heavy metals negatively impact our health. They're in the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, the products we use, and the objects we touch. Exposure is impossible to avoid. Heavy metals build up within the body over a period of time, causing poor health. However, with Kelorex, they can be mobilized and excreted in a safe and effective manner. Kelorex was developed based on Dr. Alan Greenberg's clinical experience with heavy metal poisoning during his 25 years of medical practice. Kelorex does not contain EDTA and is made from all natural ingredients, enhancing the body's natural mechanisms for excreting heavy metals and preventing their reabsorption. Kelorex contains antioxidants to protect the liver, kidneys, central nervous system, and immune functions, and effectively mobilizes mercury and 15 other heavy metals, including aluminum, arsenic, lead, and more. Find out what Kelorex can do for you by calling 1-800-675-4568 or visit us online at CHELOREX.com. That's Kelorex.com today.
They're doing a bad thing right now, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Alan Watt. That's what I'd call a independent sociologist studying all of this. Or you can define yourself in the work I do. I mean, I guess a real historian studying the elite and their program for humanity. You have these hundreds of articles saying world government's here, world government's a good idea, we're going to put one back on screen, admitting it's tyrannical, but saying it's for your own good. And I guess that's just more of this terrorism. Stage terror attacks, stage financial attacks, give us total power, or the economy will implode. The Congress gives them total power under threat of martial law. The British Parliament's being spied on. Governors are being arrested. All this fear. And then even though hundreds of papers and world leaders are all over TV calling for world government, I still get emails and comments and talk show hosts and Rush Limbaugh making fun of myself, even by name, saying that none of it exists. So all these years we read the documents, the CFR reports, Carol Quigley, literally thousands and thousands of them on air, wrote books about it, made films about it. Now that it's all happening and emerging publicly, a lot of people are waking up and saying, oh my God, you were right, we've got to fight this. But just as many, I'd say 20-30% of the public, are saying, you know what, they told me previously this didn't exist, so I'm saying you're a liar. I'm saying these news articles are fake. I'm saying none of this is real. And I'm seeing a huge backlash. Now, I know some of them are operatives and paid bloggers, but I mean, it just seems like such an insult to the public's intelligence to openly admit it. And then with the other hand, as this Rakeman guy did a day after he wrote the article, he wrote another article saying there is no world government, you're conspiracy theorists. So can you speak to that?
That, again, is the Limbaugh and these characters, really, their job is to keep the people in the illusion. It's exactly like 1984. The majority of the bureaucratic elite had to believe in the propaganda that was dished out every day. It didn't matter about those at the very, very bottom. They literally will adapt to any system they're given. However, when there's a rapid change in their standard of living, they will kill the messenger. So they have the Limbaughs and characters like that to cater to the masses who want to live in the old think, as they call it, the old system. Even though it is changing around them, they will deny their own perceptions.
Exactly. I always hear Limbaugh and Hannity still saying WMDs were found, even as the UN and Bush admit that it was staged, was fake. It doesn't matter. They still say every day, no, it's real. No, the WMDs were there. Again, they're kind of living in the old model or the old download.
Yes, and that's their job, is to cater to those who are heavily brainwashed, who are timid, who are scared, and who could not face a rapid change. They want to believe that things will somehow get better, but more importantly, they hope it'll go back to the past, and nothing ever goes back to the past.
Well, that's doublethink, doublespeak, Crime Stop. They subconsciously, it's too scary, they make the decision to lie to themselves and say it's not happening, even as it is happening, as they put troops on the streets, as Marines run checkpoints, at DWI, checkpoints on the road against U.S. citizens. They come back and say, no, it's not true. And then Limbaugh and others give them psychological sounding board or cover to say, see, there's still a media saying it doesn't exist, even as the other mainline media tells the slaves, get ready for this, we're doing it.
Yes, and the rest of the media keeps them in old think with lots and lots and lots of trivia. That's exactly what Bertrand Russell said. To be fed is nothing but trivia. And trivia is mixed with important news, and so they can't tell the difference. Everything is surreal to them, surrealistic, and their world they live in is surrealistic. And when the troops are, just like the Soviet Union, Solzhenitsyn said, He said at first when the NKVD, which became the KGB, came to arrest people next door to you, they would turn the whole street out under Soviet law to witness the arrest. That was to